we're going to shoot it over to Shox and Co at the desk.
Thank you. Yeah, Game 5 on our hands, so let's break down Game 4 first of all. Maokai, but he lost.
I mean, that composition was so slow scaling. I don't know why Nivea was locked in here. I really disagree with that pick. First of all, once the Lula was banned, that was super smart adaptation from Mousesports because obviously it removed the Joggermore composition.
Did it?
It should have. I mean, it moved the Joggermore part. Right. It removed the Joggermore part. I think Dignitas should have been like, okay, we're not going to run the same kind of comp. We don't need to go and like try and protect the AD carry again. And if they feel very forced and it's just way too slow and ban of command exist. I mean, back in the day, CLG EU had ban of command been a thing back then. Gavin would have won the game.
Baron buff. If new Baron buff,
Baron.
Minions that, you know, are more magic resistance, you know, take less damage from AoE magic damage and ban of command, then obviously it gets very hard. But yeah, I feel like when you take away the Lulu as a pick in the Juggernaut, it's like it becomes a tripod with only 2 legs. Very unstable, very easy to fall off. And that is exactly what the composition did. They were all leaning back. Like everybody was trying to kite back. They were leaning back so far that they were just really falling over and doing nothing in the game. I really dislike the Anivia pick. I think it should have been a Victor. Some offensive potential. Do something. They were down 0-5 at the end. There were more dragons, or as many dragons down as kills in that entire game.
Yeah.
It was slow. It was steady, but it wasn't the good kind of slow.
I also want to mention the Maokai pick and the fact that it was a Gnar last pick coming out of Mouse. It's actually the same matchup that we saw in Game 5 out of Rocket UOL. We saw similar trends in terms of CS advantages, around average of 17 at 10 minutes, and an average of 32 at 20 minutes. Both times, Gnar got ahead, built heavily for split push slowly until the point that the team with Gnar could apply pressure and take other objectives. That's why they ended up getting an aspect of the Dragon. One thing really quickly, it's the 7th aspect all season long in summer for EUCS, and it's the 23rd Dragon in 4 games. Like, the only win condition that these teams are currently primarily focusing on is the Dragon. But with each game it gets better, because in Game 3 we saw Juggernaut, Game 4 we saw Juggernaut countered, and we ended up seeing a little bit of split push. So there's some hope for Mouse playing the map a little more, a little wider.
But the counter, obviously, to that like slow and steady split push that eventually tears you apart is to home guard Maokai.
37 minutes, right before they took the 5th dragon.
450 gold, and it makes you so insanely strong in starting fight.
Isn't it 475?
Do you upgrade your trinket, or do you buy the
I
home
don't know, it's 450 and 475. Same deal, whatever. The point is, it's cheap, it's so strong.
25 gold means a lot to us supporters.
Yeah.
It's a third of a war.
As well here. Setting up a home guard TP, though, if you very rarely do invest into deep vision, can be a bit tricky. Once again,
that's true.
What does home guard do? And then you engage. Like, come on, it might force you into being more aggressive, which is what both teams kind of need.
You are actually forbidden from making funny noises on the caster desk or analyst desk.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, there's no crowd here at the moment. So
in any case, with everything, and maybe not building the home guards obviously on Maokai, still, Mousesports, they were on the brink of being defeated and being out of this race, and they pulled it back together. And even though you say, okay, it might be a bad pick by picking the Anivia or not building the home cards, they still managed to keep it together and do it.
I think Zio is too comfortable on the Azir. And honestly, the bans have been the same, I believe, every single game from Dignitas. And I don't think if you end the best of 5 series by having banned the same thing every game, I think you're doing it wrong. You have to adapt mid-series or at least try something and get something out of the way. Why not take away some comfort picks? I mean, this is why Mouse came back into the game. They recognized, okay, they're running Juggernaut. What is the key composition of the key part of that? The Lulu, let's ban it out. Oh, look, they're still going Juggernaut, but then with Anivia...
Yeah. I also agree, and I think it also gets a little easier for Dignitas this time around because they're back on red side.
Yeah.
It was the last pick, Gnar, into the Maokai that really sort of unlocked Game 4 here for Mouse. They don't have access to that. They're again on blue side. They have to look at their first pick priority. They've gone Azir, they've gone Rek'Sai in their previous games. If that Azir gets hit, then Zayo has to step up on something else.
I think we will see Azir being banned, and then like Dignitas will do something. They've been banning Twisted Fate because Zero is also very good on that champion, used it in the semi-final. Elise have been banned every single game, yet I don't even feel like Elise, looking at how these 2 teams have been playing, would be that impactful, unless that is the champion Mouse needs to be maybe more aggressive in the early game, and that's why they're banning it away from Dignitas' side here. Oh, it's also Fizz in the top lane. Yes, Beanto has been a good split pusher, but he just did it on Gnar, he's done it on Aurelia. There are definitely picks you can move around and fit in the Azir, which has now been a strong pick for them.
I think it gets even more difficult because this is what they're playing for.
Yeah.
I mean, the trophy's on the line. A spot at the
embodiment of the
LCS is on the line now. And, you know, we came into the day saying 9 out of these 10 players have never played on the stage before. And when Nisbet did play, it was very difficult. So, you know, the gates are there and somebody has to unlock it. Somebody has to walk through it. And we'll find out who's going to crack under the pressure.
Yeah, we will see. Indeed, we're not quite there yet, though. As said, an LCS...
So dramatic and you're not even there.
I know. Terrible. Actually, I feel like we
that
should
close up.
yeah, anyway, going into Game 5, crucial things maybe in mindset if you are a coach. Who deserves it more looking at this series? Because we've seen similar mistakes or playstyles from both these teams. But is there something that you see in any of these teams that tells you they would have some potential coming into the LCS?
I don't think anyone deserves it more, you know. Both teams honestly almost seems like the same. Because it's the same kind of early game they're playing. It's the same problems they have in terms of like vision control or sometimes picking combinations that cannot hard engage or whatever exactly it is. And both teams are constantly playing around Dragon. So
yeah,
it feels like it's basically two of the same teams facing each other. And that's why we keep getting the same kind of games over and over.
Where's the most growth potential?
It's interesting because both teams have gone a different direction.
Yeah.
In Game 3, Dignitas EU went, look, we're going to play a completely different team comp style. Look for that protect the AD carry. Look for you to try to engage on us and then re-engage and win with Cog. Game 4, all of a sudden, the Gnar counter pick and an early advantage allowed Mouse to then start the split push. It was also slow grind, much like Rocket and UOL, showing a little bit of limited experience, maybe, is the term that I'm going to go for. And I think whichever team is going to be more proactive in Game 5 is the one that I want to win.
Yep.
Because we've seen adaptations from both. That's great. It's showing the players, the coaching staff, the decision-making. Now they've got to do it again to surprise.
I want brawls, man. I want them to fight.
And I think that what we have seen from Mouse is just the split pushing, which is something we haven't seen from Dignitas at all. Basically, it's been the 5-on-5 team fights. If you can get that going, because it's something Mouse have done really well in the past as well. We've seen the Rek'Sai come in for Dan, where he suddenly is a split pusher. Beansu, of course, has been split pushing all series long here. As long as they can get that rolling, Mouse should be able to win the game. But it's just so tough to say because the early game will decide so much. Because one team then says, okay, we lost the early game, so now we're just going to try and play around 5 dragons. And the other team's like, okay, we're going to outscale you, so we're happy doing it. And that's why, again, we get the very slow-paced games.
I was going to ask you for predictions, but it seems almost impossible with the... Or, I mean, is someone feeling...
Mouse.
Dignitas.
There we go.
Be the decider.
Crepo.
Danish. Oh, okay.
No.
Wait,
you know what? I'm going to predict Dignitas will get it because they're 5 Danish players.
Okay, what a surprise. Boo-hoo, yay.
Well,
okay.
in that case, I'll go back to Mousesports. Fisio has convinced me.
In any case, both Mousesports and Team Dignitas EU are just one Smash Nexus away from the League Championship Series. As we go, Inero tells us how his team apped up their game for the Summer Finals.
Basically, we focused on fixing our macro control over the game. Our map control was pretty weak, and our early game was like our big disadvantage against most teams. And we just worked on playing safe early game, and then trying to win just around the map, controlling waves and everything. And it's improved a lot. They've become so much better at playing the map.